Bener. Buat apa itu? Our interpreter. Hi.
back in those days, you were lucky enough to have got a room because they had the rule, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs. So we were fortunate enough. It was a Jewish man who actually rented. He loved my mum and dad. In 1998, my mother passed away abroad, and I wanted to be with my mum because I was very close. So I made an application for a British passport, and that's when I found out that I really wasn't British. Of course. You know, I'm British. I gave birth to children here, so no one questioned me then. No one questioned me when I was signing for child benefit. No one questioned me when I applied for jobs and when they were taking my tax from me. And I think the shock came to me even more was in 2009 when I got terminated from my job. When I went to claim benefits, they told me I can't get benefits because I haven't got a British passport. So I was like, okay, I can't argue with you. So I just, yeah, it was hard. I didn't have any money. I was on the verge of losing my home because obviously I can't pay my rent. I literally had to turn around and sort of like ask my children to support me.
Oh. Bye. Bye.
Once the media had got the story, Home Office contacted me never in my lifetime, and they made arrangements for me to come to the Home Office to speak to the senior ministers that was there. They basically said to me that I'm a British citizen. Woo! Good boy. Good boy, jump.
What's